1,000 apologies. I'm running a little bit late, but do bear with me. I'm feeling a little bit on the cold side. I was out at Windrush Square. I got back in, I relaxed a little bit. And, well, to be honest, I had something to eat first, and then I start to relax and fall asleep, you know. But, you know, it got sometimes, and I have to forgive me, I was feeling a rather bit cold, nice to being back in the warmth. But in my comfort and with my belly full, you know, something happened. So I jump up and I have to rush in, you know. But as it is, I'm not as prepared as I ought to have been. But at the same time, my brother, Andrew Broteng, he gave a call. So my hope is that he's going to join me sometime later on just to give an update, because there was a Zoom meeting last week. I wasn't able to attend, but I was invited, and that was a meeting with the local bobbies, the police, and I understand he was there, Mr. Sterling Classford was there, and others were there. So that pertains to developments around the football with the youth. So I'm hoping that he'll be in the studio in order to elaborate, yeah? So whilst I'm setting up things in the studio, let me just fling back on the tune, yeah, and I'll get back to you on the other side, yeah? So stay blessed, radio1.com. Respect, manners.
Day after day, I pray and I pray. We could all just learn, live and love one another. A world without no wars, no boundaries, because we need to learn more of the meaning of sharing and caring. Everyone needs someone, yeah. Remember that no man is an island, oh no. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Let me know. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Love, yeah. Show love, yeah. It's what the children need. Show some love, yeah. Yes, you know that we need all love we can get, yeah. Now together we go on. Our nation is so strong. Let us move on hand in hand to the promised land. Step in one accord, giving eyes to our Lord. No matter how times are, we must get our reward. Sometimes it's so hard to see where you're going, so you got to remember where you're coming from. Overstanding is the only thing that keeps the world turning. Words of righteousness will always live on. Yes, they will. Show love. You got to sow some seeds. Love, love, yeah. Show love, yeah. That's what the children need. Love, love, yeah. Yes, you know that we need all love we can get, yeah. Show some love. Show some love. Everyone needs someone. Remember that no man is an island, you know. So don't be afraid to give a helping hand, yeah. Tell me, am I not my brother's keeper? Yes, yes you are. Show love. I said it's what we need. Show love.
Yes, show some love, my family. Show some love. Right, so I wanna doing out there. I open a warm, because I was experiencing some chill, being down there at Windrush Square, making our 1,000 drum ancestral salute by the gathering, of the individuals, what I'm saying, from north, east, west, and south, and how fitting it was, being to been, what do you say, a weekend of, what do you say, remembering our honorable dead, as you see that was done Westminster and all those other places within our communities. And in salute to the fact I've now come to acknowledge the significance and the importance of having such a place where we can gather in one mind and spirit. And that, by no doubt, is a place that we can visit every week. Yeah, as a matter of fact, every day of the week. We should be able to go there with our drums and pay our respect, in a meaningful way that we know all our ancestors can identify with, that being the drum and the heartbeat, because we owe our ancestors so much, so much that we cannot imagine. Yeah, and it's for you, therefore, to imagine that if we had a place in each community as to how befitting it would be in honoring our ancestors for the sacrifice to which they've made. So let me just encourage you, family. Yeah, let me encourage you. This is somewhere that is now sacred, to us as a community. So let it be. I obviously, I'm up north and down there south. It's just one straight journey for myself from north to south, on that Victoria line. And we know the role Victoria played, in establishing the colonies, So what was hidden from the wise is now being revealed to babes and sucklings. Yeah, so I saw the thing set, and we have to just move with what is being shown as our eyes are now being open. But firstly, let me start off by greeting Una, and I do hope that you are all doing fine in this pandemic time. First and foremost, my respect to the ancestors on whose shoulders I do stand, and who have brought me out again today to pay salute to them, to management and engineers for making this program possible, to bless Radio 1, to afford us this blessing to know thyself and more the benefit of our community. And again, to remind you of our website, which is blessradio1.com. Yeah, so if you have not got that in your program, please reprogram and let that be our means of, a means of information, tuning, which is going to be on your YouTubes, making full use of social media. Yeah. Now, again, my respect to the kings and queens out there, active in the fight for justice, because as you know, no justice, no peace. Again, it's been a busy week in protests all over, some of which I've been in support and being part of the planning. My salute to the soldiers and generals on the front line taking the stand, not kneeling nor bowing at this time. And again, respect to the Joy Gardner family for their enduring strength, and to those who give their support to their cause. The Windrush generation, again, who we saluted, now causing the government an headache. Respect goes out to the family of all loved ones lost within our community again this week. Big respect again for all support which is being had. And again, also I'd like to pay respect to Omawale, Rupert and Enro, and the desire for the Okombozi drum beat. And that's ourselves, 1,000 drums. Today, as I mentioned earlier, we were down at the Windrush Square saluting our ancestors, our fallen heroes, First, Second World War, and then those of you who no doubt have loved ones lost within the community. Yeah, all who have made the sacrifices by enduring through the institutional racism, the verbal, and all of those abuses that have been thrown out at us over the years. Yeah, so we are where we are. I'm not as structured, organized, but there's a few things which I'll be touching on with you this week. I think most pertinent and most prominent this week, I think a number of you would have seen it on the news as to the happenings that are taking place up there in Edmonton Police Station being more particular. I think that was on Wednesday, where somebody had crashed a car into the station reception area and then set about to douse it with petrol and setting it alight, Now, for the following day, I did not go anywhere the next day at all. I just stayed in because I just thought it was going to be martial law being imposed immediately. There says a few mad terrorists about the place. Yeah, Edmonton was now going to be on lockdown, and the only way you're going to come out is if you take the injection. You understand? I thought it was one of those strategy that they themselves had put in place or decided to resurrect or erect. Yeah, because in the back of my mind, I said, if I was going to do a thing like that, yeah, would I make sure I put all my petrol inside the station instead of up on the road? You understand? And jeopardize people's health and safety. Yeah, but nonetheless, it petered out. I think there was just some inconvenience for that night and the early part of the morning. So thank God nobody really got hurt in that altogether. But at the same time, it was something somewhat concerning as a community that such a thing should take place. That particular area, there is a history for us locally in the community, because that's where Danny Banton himself had, he didn't even run to the police station. He went across the road in order to seek refuge after he had been stabbed, and he fell opposite the station, and for whatever reason the police themselves, them never see anything, So you can understand we as a community, we are not really sympathetic to a certain extent when it comes to our local police, But at the same time, I can remember years before, the chief superintendent, Watson, I believe his name was, did help us through myself and Warblow, was to set about a program at the Eros night spot. So we know there are good elements within the forces, and again, our good brother, Mr. Boateng, will be here later on. Yeah, there is an hope that we can probably try to resurrect that relationship. But as I'd said, there's no way that can happen without the local generals being involved. So if they're serious, they've got to be prepared to work with the likes of Berkeley, Clasford, Stafford, I think Carlton, and a number of other generals. You understand? For we, if we take them serious anyway. You understand? So that's my standpoint. I don't know if we not agree with it, but I'm just saying that's how I kind of see it. You understand? Because me vexed with them, I think the Matrix is even more vexed with them. You understand? Because the way them keep going round and not learning any lessons. That's why I'm just kind of tell them to take with themselves. You understand? So that's where we are with them. There's also there's this, what they say last week, I think I touched on this, there's this epidemic amongst the minks, and then this week, I think, well, not even this week, probably even recent as today, I was picking up something being said by one of the politicians in regard puss and dog, and there's this train that might come from that also, So that's where I'm at, family. But whilst I'm on it, because I'm running late, I think I need to kind of jumble up quite a number of things at the same time. So I'm just going to randomly go into the book, in the good book, and see what there is. And immediately it says, good is all. So all thing that is good is good. Yeah, so if you're good, then you're one with God. Yeah, and the opposite page reads, you must use your time and knowledge properly to carry out honestly and diligently the task and responsibility entrusted to you. So I do apologize because I'm a bit late. Yeah, as I've apologized already. Yes, respect my brother. Yeah, my brother has just stepped into the studio, so I'm already happy. Yeah, because it means that the time is now gonna go even so much quicker. Yeah, because we're gonna bounce. Yeah, we're gonna be sharing with you, and we're hoping that you're gonna get your ears cocked, peeled. It's probably not necessary for you to have pencil, book, and paper this week. You can not. Yeah, you can get away from not having the homework. Yeah, you can get away. No homework this week, insofar as research. Yeah, we're just gonna be bouncing. Yeah, and hope the whole evening is gonna be entertaining, but on a serious side. Yeah, but whilst all is being settled now, let me just play you another tune from another track. Everything just kind of flow naturally anyway. So take this one, yeah.
Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. Run away, slave. Oh. Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. Run away, slave. Oh. It was a long time ago. Rounds about the Garden of Eden, just where the river Nile she flow. Higher and higher reason we die hiding, where we observe from afar. Many ships sailing on the horizon, we never knew how were we to know. Wicked man was coming to spoil our meditation. With his brutality, he led us away in the shadows and tears. But so far, far away, will I ever see my home again? But even though I'm in a strange land, and you make me so rough, do you think I would ever give up? Let go now. Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. Say how you run away, say yeah. Run away, run away, run away, run away, run away. They say that how you run away, say
Yes, the runaway slave is in the house, and his guest has arrived. Yeah, there was one other thing I omitted was to mention. I think round about this time there was actually a Zoom meeting taking place, because I was honored to be invited, to be part of a judging panel, because there's a tribunal being set up, to indict a number of governments and those government officers, yeah, for this pandemic that they've put us into, or this pandemic which is about the place, which a number of people are saying is false, and some are saying, well, it's not, and but the evidence are out there, so it's the responsibility of the panels was to form a judgment. But I know before you get to the point of indictment, it means this judgment has been reached, so there is something which is running parallel with what with my show at this present time, so I'm not able to tune in and lock in with that, But my contribution is obviously now to let you know that this is pending, it's ongoing, and an outcome, will be announced at some stage later. Yeah. Also, I'd like to pay my respect to my goddaughter, of my brethren, Nigel, the Rambler, Nigel Shaw, who left us sometime last week, if not the week before. Actually, I think from what had been given, it was on the 1st of November. So we're talking about 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks now. But I did pick up on that, I think, because I was in Gloucestershire on the Monday, which was the 2nd, which was Selassie I the First coronation, So I think it was fitting, and I felt pleased knowing that we were actually chanting, at the time whilst he was traveling, to join the ancestors. So respect my goddaughter, more strength, and I know that you are more than able. You understand? Because those preparation had been made, so your character, will take you through. You understand? So more love, more strength, respect goes out to you. Okay? Right. So we've got our brother, Mr. Boateng, in the studio, which is quite timely. Yeah. So again, I'll get him to make an introduction, because we first met because of an incident involving the police over at the canals, and one of the ways of resolving it, because I believe that there is a case, or if there's a situation that is not being resolved, but nonetheless, we are, or he has offered an olive branch, or whichever way it has gone. They have probably tried to offer an olive branch, but to a certain extent, we're always suspicious of the entrapment. Yeah, so we are not going to ease up. We're going to hold them accountable. And in order for us to do so effectively, we are to bring the right people and put those pillars in place in order that this doesn't keep repeating itself. Yeah. So let my brother introduce himself, and then from there we just pick up and we will carry on to inform you as to how we may well be able to move the whole thing forward, particularly for our youngsters, because our presentation from the studio goes from one side to the next for youth and us adults, as well as to our ancestors. But again, if you haven't got the phone line for the studio, let me give it to you now. 079 444 31366. Yeah, I'll run it to you again. 079 444 31366. So please do listen in keenly, and if any questions come to mind on any things that had been touched that you'd like to challenge or to question, to have it more expansion, then please do phone in at that time. But don't just phone in and ask things which is not present, otherwise it's going to be out of sync with everything that we're presently doing. Okay? Yeah, so, okay, all right, let me play a track first, and then we will then come. So my brother, be ready. Yeah, so we're coming at you, yeah?
Yeah, we got to come together to overcome brainwash mentality, Break these chains that hold I down. Oh, Babylon, you're wrong. So wrong. Power down, hold on. I said your judgment won't be long. Oh, brother man, be strong.
You're live on air, do not
put down your weapon. Hold on.
I do not swear. The only thing that come out of my
mouth. Babylon, you're wrong. So wrong. Power down, hold on. I said your judgment won't be long. Oh, brother man, be strong.
And what does it stand for?
Well, there comes the problem. Yeah. But anyway, over to you, my brother.
Okay, so I'm back in the studio again with my man Clive. I was here a few weeks ago. Just to give you a recap on the situation. So I was involved in a bit of a situation along the canal, the Lee River Canal with my son. We were stopped by police at Taser Point, and basically what happened is it amounted to a bit of harassment, and to cut a very long story short, what we're doing now is trying to get some real action and structured solutions in place to the situation, so that youngsters and other youths don't face the same situation where they're sort of just accosted by plainclothes police officers at will, with no sort of defence mechanisms in place or strategies to deal with it. So that's really where we're at. So in terms of solutions now, these would be the next steps, because there's no point in just sort of, going through the same old motions. You get into these situations and then, you get an apology and it's all brushed under the carpet. Or so what happens with some of the kids is it happens in isolation, where they're out on their own, they haven't got a parent with them, and then they're dealing it with them by themselves, aren't they?
Okay, so what is the state with your present situation regarding your son and the police? Because I'm thinking, because of it's not resolved.
It's not resolved yet.
Okay, so that is still pending.
It's still pending.
Right. So irrespective of that, they have been in touch with yourself.
Yes.
And you're showing willingness to resolve it, trusting that the law will take care of that aspect.
That's all going on the sidelines.
Yeah, so we're not business. We're trusting the law to sort that out, right? What you're doing with the help of ourselves is. All right, bear with me a moment. I hope this call is
no problem.
Hello.
Is this a call for live on air?
I think it would be too soon. Is it sometime I need to have my glasses?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, caller. I think I've just touched the wrong button. But please do phone back after you've listened to what has been said, because that obviously, you see what's happened is just knocked me out of sync. Yeah, but do phone back afterwards, please. Yeah, as we were saying, yeah. So we've set that aside. And you're showing the willingness now to work with them in a constructive way to now prevent the same thing reoccurring with our youngsters. So your aim now is obviously to put real active structures in place with the right people, so that we can hold them accountable, that they're not just kicking the can down the road and then embarrass you and get you more angry and frustrated, and then you probably end up locked up as a consequence of that. Okay.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay, right. So with that now, I know that a meeting was held. I think it was on Friday.
Yeah, so we had a meeting on Friday.
Right. Now, I've already apologized for not being able to get back in time from my daughter, because as I say, oftentimes, if you follow community work, you neglect your family and even your own immediate community, in the line of duty. So that's why it's so good to know that there are others out there who are doing similar things and is prepared to trailblaze, irrespectful of what baggage is on our shoulders. You understand? Yeah, so please, the meeting. So was it well attended?
Yeah, I mean, so the meeting was well attended. So we had basically the community youth engagement team from the Met in the local area that have been put on the case by the superintendent for the North area. And basically what they want to try and do is sort of build a rapport with the local community, and to try and, stop similar things from happening again. In the area. Obviously, we know that things have happened since.
Yeah, well, again, that's why I pointed to the generals.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if they're serious, they needed to deal with people who they've sat down previously, that we can hold them to account. So, but you said this before.
Yeah.
We proposed this, you never did that. Yeah. So where they've been able to go around us, I've directed you to the generals. Yeah. So when you go to the generals now, when we sit down with them, they are the ones who is nervous.
Yes.
Yeah. So now that's why I'm so excited having you in the studio. Yeah. Because they're now proposing to more or less do the same thing all over again.
So you've been there before, haven't you? You've done
Been
this
there,
before.
done that. Yeah. But yourself is new, so it's not for you to tarnish them
Yeah.
with the same brush that I've experienced. You understand? So
Okay.
we're giving you the opportunity, giving them the opportunity, and more so we're giving you the support in order to deal with this new opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. But we've got the Matrix. Yeah. We've got Classford. Hopefully we'll have Berkeley. I know there's Carlton is out there.
Okay.
I saw him at Bully's funeral. I haven't seen him. So respect to you, my brother. Yeah. So I hope again your strength is your experience, as like with us, because we're old hands.
Yeah.
You
Bringing all
understand?
the
And you're
experience to the
younger
table.
blood. You understand? So when we can push you,
Of course.
yeah,
You've seen it all before.
yeah, we want you to stand
Yeah.
on our shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
You so I'm saying, yeah. So yeah, fill us in more. I say how the meeting went and
Yeah, so the meeting went. It was quite positive in a sense. We also had June, who's one of the police officers from the local area. She's a black lady, and she's doing separate studies totally on sort of harassment in the community and within the police, etc. And she's doing
Okay,
quite
well,
interesting studies.
well,
etc.
again, what we need to do is to let our local youths know her, so they
Yes.
can build up a rapport, so that when others try to antagonize her, they can come to her defense.
Yes,
You understand?
of course.
Because that was a relationship I had with the youths in the community. You know, I could jump in amongst them and be rowdy, and by the time I provoked them enough and they're prepared to kick off,
Yeah.
others around them will say, no, that's Clive, man, that's Clive,
Exactly.
man. And then they'll settle down. You understand? So we want to put this aura around her so she can go in any situation and say, what that they are used up to? And then naturally they're going to say, who you think you are? And then others around and say, no, that's like mum, that's auntie.
Yeah, of course.
You see what I'm saying? And then she will use that force now, yeah, in the right and proper way. You understand? So that's how we need to put a shield around her, because she's there to represent and see that we have that love and peace and harmony. Yeah. So yeah, respect to June.
Yeah, June. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's doing some good stuff out there as well, and so she was on a call. We also had the General Classford Sterling, of course.
Yeah,
He's been there in the
nice.
community in the Broadwater Farm area for many decades now, helping out the youths and everyone else, in touch with the top tables, etc. And then we had some other members of the police youth engagement team, and someone from slightly outside the bubble, which was good, from the YMCA, working with Community Youth London, and she's working on projects around a Safe Zones project, which is going to be a really good thing to roll out and join in with what we're doing in the whole area. So I think they started doing a pilot, I think, in Ipswich and Croydon already.
Okay.
We've heard that Croydon have run out of money recently.
Yeah,
the
I
council.
heard that this week.
So, yeah,
I wonder why.
so yeah, so that might be something that needs to come over this way as well. But that will involve everyone within the community, so from shopkeepers to people, running youth clubs, etc. So you get trained up on issues that affect the youths. Youths can come to certain people, designated people in the community. You get first aid training, etc. And the program will also help to train up the police in certain areas like unconscious biasness and all kinds of different things like that. And it's linked into other community projects. So things for practical things for the youths to do. So go and do like music production, go and do poetry classes, English, etc. All different things. So we're trying to link that into it, because from this meeting, what the police wanted to do, they want to have a tournament, because my field, if people don't know, is football. So I'm a football coach and a football scout. I scout for Crystal Palace. I work with a local grassroots team, Parkview Rangers in the area as well, which I have done for many years. So they want to do a football tournament to try and bring people primarily from the Broadwater Farm Estate into the loop, because I think the community engagement people have been working with Northumberland Park in the area and Bruce Grove, I think, youth clubs and those kind of areas around there. So that was where we were at, and basically it was the very first meeting that we've had with them, and they obviously Just want to open dialogue and try and get into the community.
Again, the interesting thing is that they've reached out to you and they hadn't been to Classford. Am I making that assumption?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason they reach out to me also is because of the direct sort of, connection they had through the incident. So they thought, I think, that way. But
yeah. But again, it is a point. You see what I'm saying? They've thrown a sweetener at yourself. Yeah. But I don't think we're going to hit problem or issues with that as long as you have the right support and you're able to set about it in the right way. Because I know Astrid is our old soldier and he's looking to pass on the baton, and the more support he can have, because I know again Jude is there. You know what I'm saying? So it's how you link up, which then means that it makes the task more achievable.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the ultimate aim is going to be to give the trust back, which is lost between them and the broader community. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it sounds good because I'm smiling. And I'm excited
because I know you've been there and you've seen it before. Because you've done what was it, the Warblow?
Yeah, I did the Warblow project, and that again is another thing. You're talking about sports. The other thing is about the arts and the culture, their creativity, because again that is one of the good things that came from Bernie Grant, the cultural industries, which myself, Chili Dixon, Jazzy B, we were invited to Westminster, with the cultural secretary. I think it was something Fisher at the time. You know what I'm saying? And again, we've got the Bernie Grant Centre down there, and for those again who don't know, I tried to get Alexandra Palace. Well, I went to try and become an MP to be able to utilise Alexandra Palace, where again Bernie Grant's funeral service had taken place. Yeah. So I could see where the cultural industries now within Haringey can come together with the likes of the pillars that's been mentioned in order for these young people to give them that ultimate opportunity to serve as a beacon, not just for London but for up and down the country. So I'm saying that because I want the police to realise the potential
of this,
of what we're presenting to them. If they are serious, if they are serious to turn this thing around, what I was doing, as you said, with Warblow, the police gave that initial pump primer. Every time they were on holiday, we put on 2 events, one at the beginning to engage with them, and at the end when they were going to go back into school. When they go back into school, we're telling, listen, concentrate on your education. When you're on holiday, we will have another program for you to come and express yourself. You see what I'm saying? So we've got these things that we know has worked before, and you are taking on the football, which again, Classford, we've won so many tournaments. You go in there, they ain't got enough cabinets for all the trophies. You see what I'm saying? So you're embarking on a journey whereby you're going to have the trophies, and hopefully we're going to be seeing your project being played out on our screen, playing the football. Winning the trophies, and they themselves will eventually be putting back into what is now being established. You 100%. Understand? So I've seen an example of that when we went Greenwich the other day. So I know that's where we meet. So hit us with more things.
I mean, so that would be the initial thing they want to do, is like a small scale kind of project in the Broadwater Farm, and they will also want to roll it out into, we went to the Kickoff at 3 tournament as well. So they want to do one of those in the area as well, so it can encompass Haringey and
we've got Enfield.
And so Haringey and Enfield.
So for me to identify, or for the police to point me in the direction, but again, you know, a lot of people don't really want to work with me. You know, when they see me, it's like they see, I don't know what they see. But for whatever reason, I'm always open, and it's there on the record that I know we have to work with them. And the reason why we have to work, well, me particularly, is because I know them and the mistake that they've made. They can't pull the wool over my eye. You know what I'm saying? So the youngers, they've seen it demonstrated, and they don't really want to give them a chance, but we are asking of our youngsters, please do give them a chance, but do that through us.
Yes.
Because there are those who are out there that don't really have your interests at heart. Yeah, they're I don't even know how to describe, but I'm not a judge. You understand?
Yeah.
But they've got selfish interests. Yeah, so you need to identify with who you can trust and who you can work with. Yeah, but we're not saying to you openly to just go and trust the police, because you don't know who to trust, because man to man are just so unjust. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, what I've come to realise is that there are some very good sort of officers and, you know, members of the police force out there that are trying to do good things, and they're doing it genuinely. But then there are some very unscrupulous ones at the same time. So it's trying to weave your way through the web of that, and you know, don't take everything at face value, but just make sure you always consult the trusted people in the community, etc. On these issues. So yeah, I mean, football is one thing, but we're looking to branch it out into different, you know, different other fields. So it's not just about football.
I'm surely confident, because obviously of the record that we had achieved before, that the cultural industry, because in order to develop your social well-being, to communicate, because you can see the problem that social media is causing.
Yes.
You're talking to people, okay, you can have it so you can do a video call and you can see the individual on the other side. But in most cases, you don't see that.
No.
Yeah, and you're meeting up with strangers, you're communicating with strangers, you can't see their body language, you can't look into their eye, you know what I'm saying? So these senses that you've got, which are your intuitions, they've been denied you. Your social media don't allow your intuition.
No.
Yeah, because it is very more an illusion than anything else. So I again would welcome the opportunity, and there are organizations out there, if I might mention, like Fathers to Fathers as one. I know Manhood Academy. There are a number of those which are out there, which you know, the contacts are there. Yeah, and it's for us to come together, because oftentimes it's so difficult, because as soon as you set about something, people look at it like you're trying to step on their toe. Yeah, they kind of forget about the aims and the objective, which are supposed to be attained, and there's no man is an island. You ain't got all the answers.
You don't.
You know, so one of my greatest challenges is trying to set up an umbrella organization where everybody can go to, and you then direct them in the right direction as they do. You know what I'm saying? So that this Blessed Radio, it affords us a platform, you know, for me to invite yourself, and as you see how I operate, I come with you to find you out.
Yes, yeah.
To see what it
You
is.
come on a day-long trip with me and see what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so having done that, I can confidently say to the youngsters, Mr. Boateng is somebody that you must take seriously, because obviously we've got an eye. As long as he goes to the right people that has been directed, and those people are involved, because we've all got a reputation. It's like a street cred. We got to protect our street credibility. So once we can endorse that, we're happy to say to yourself, youths, and the listeners out there, that here's an individual who's prepared to sacrifice some of his time, because he could be at home. Relaxing like me. I got home and I was trying to get some sleep.
Watching Small Axe.
And there's this Small Axe which is coming on. You know what I'm saying? So so where and what you know else is it that's you know, and what's the next meeting? And
so I mean, well, the next meeting will be in the next few weeks. We're hoping to get a face-to-face one coming up soon after when the COVID restrictions are released, etc. Because the whole aim of the police want to come and see, you know, if they can, you know, come and liaise within the community. So come to the Broadwater
they
Farm.
want to come and see what it is that you're doing that they can see also. But
Exactly.
Was there anybody that took any form of minutes of what was said, or is it just on video footage?
Yeah, they've got you know, people at the other end, at the police and the youth engagement team that would have been you know, documenting that, and they had really good officer, what's his name, Shuaib, who's Asian guy. He came from up north, and he works there, and he's really got the interest of the community at heart, I would say.
Okay.
So I think we can. It looks like we, you know.
Okay.
We can,
Well, what I'd like to say on that, therefore, is this, because oftentimes it's like they'll have a little kind of session, which is like a brainstorming session, and the object of that is to take your ideas and run with it.
yeah.
But the way, like, even with myself, you know, I've had the same to us document. I've sent that out over a period of time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people look on it, take like the idea, but they can't run with it, because the first thing you have to do is to build that trust.
Yes.
Yeah. And that takes long time.
It does.
Okay. But when you can be recommended, it kind of shortens a period of time in order to get that momentum
100%.
going. You understand?
Yeah,
So we need to be always mindful of those things, but we've got things in place, and namely is those pillars. Once you've got those old generals as pillars, everybody will come towards, and we have an idea as to their delivery. You know, if they can deliver, if they're just using their mouth to take government money and take our trust and abuse it. You know what I'm saying? So there is a real potential here.
Definitely.
That when we come out of this pandemic, which I'm saying from out of rehab and back into life, you know, we'll have an engine already going in order to take on passengers and take them in the directions of their choice.
We're putting things in place, and that's the whole idea, isn't it, for the youth, so that we hit the ground running when we come out of this. On a note, because obviously the football thing that I'm doing, there's one thing that I'd like to mention as well, which is we're all about giving kids opportunities, you know. So through these projects, etc., and through the other football things. So after when the restrictions are released as well, what we're going to do, because I work with Crystal Palace at the moment, is hold some open day assessment days for primarily starting with under 16s, and so they'll be able to come in and do like an open day trial session to identify them. So primarily we're looking for centre forwards and wingers to start with. And then we can open that up afterwards to like different positions on different days and different age groups. So if you are interested in that, just send myself an email at andy@needmorefootball.com. So that's andy@needmorefootball.com, and you know, I can send you the details for that. So that's something for the community. I know there's a lot of good footballers in the area, and then hopefully we can, like, you know, do other projects around different sports.
So for
and
that
things.
now, is it a case where you're going to have to stretch yourself to go to different venues, or have you allocated a venue where everybody can then come to you?
Yeah. Well, at the moment, Crystal Palace are actually they've been developing their academy training grounds to make it a Category 1 centre. So at the new facilities there in Beckenham, that's where the assessment day is likely to take place. So yeah, we haven't got a date yet until the restrictions are
lifted.
Yeah, so people can prepare mentally for it.
Okay, but again, it might be an advantage, because if you're working with that number 6 as an example, 6-a-side football. Yeah, and you've got the time because of the restrictions. It means that obviously you could dedicate a day and have all these different, and then you could select via that way. You know what I'm saying? So there's ways that we could work with it, but again, you would like the people who put themselves forward to be serious and have the ability, and not just taking the opportunity to get out.
Of course, you have to have something.
And what I would say on this is that, and we saw it demonstrated at a football match, there's a lot of you youngsters out there who have ability, but with that ability you have the wrong attitude. And I want for you to think on this. You've got the ability, but you've got the wrong attitude. That's to say that you think you've already arrived, you're better than, and that brings in a sense of ignorance. And I am asking of you to deal with that, so you have that discipline, which is something which is internal. Only you can control that. Only you can control that. And what I would say is that you think you've already arrived, you're better than, and that brings in a sense of ignorance. I am asking of you to deal with that, so you have that discipline, which is something which is internal. Only you can control that. Only you can control that. And what I would say is that you think you've already arrived, you're better than, and that brings in a sense of ignorance. Yeah, and people from outside can agitate you, make you lose your cool, yeah, but that intuition, that inner self, only you can control that, yeah. So that is the other thing, because we talk about the acronym RASSS, but it's a double-edged sword with WRATH. So as much as we're concerned about your well-being, your relationships, in there also is about your attitude. Yeah, and your attitude is where you're truthful within yourself, so we can trust your ability. And then from there, your hopes as well as your aspirations will be fulfilled. Yeah, but in the midst of all of that is attitude. Yeah, and it's done in a particular way so that you can better understand. So if you work with wrath and the wrath of God, then you will have a holistic, yeah, mental ability in order to deal with what is necessary to deal with this real world when you come out of this rehab and this pandemic that you're in. Okay, so we're all in a situation for a reason, because now we have to look within ourselves. It's not just the fact that you're locked up indoors. Yeah, the truth of the matter is that you're locked up in yourself, because the first thing you need to decide for yourself, is this real or is it that they're playing us? Yeah, that isn't in your house, it is in your head. Yeah, so that again is why I'm so happy my brother is in the studio, so we can just bounce and reason. Yeah, but he's got a template which again is within his head. Yeah, he's got the ability, because he's developed a skill set and he's been given the opportunity to engage with us. Yeah, I'm fortunate that I bumped into him just by accident. Yeah, and what he said in that short period of time has enabled me to connect with him to the extent that he's taken me away, could be leading me astray. But from what has been demonstrated, it's not the case. Yeah, so again, yeah, I'm honored, my brother. So whatever you have that the community needs to know, particularly our youngsters, we said 16-year-olds, yeah, to start off with.
Yeah.
Okay, so from there, where would you go lower or you go higher?
Yeah, so I mean, the idea is that they come to the assessment day, and they're looked at by scouts. There's going to be like a head of recruitment that watches that assessment day as well. And then if they do perform well, then they're invited back, and it will lead to an opportunity with an 8-week trial within the actual academy team. So you play with the academy team, they'll play against all the other Category 1 academies, Arsenals and Tottenhams and all the rest of them. And so it's just a really good opportunity for the kids, isn't it? To to show what they got, because I know there's some real talent out there that aren't necessarily getting the opportunities for different reasons. Football's changed now at the moment, where you need to have certain resources behind you to get to all the fixtures, etc. You see people turning up in their Range Rovers and all that kind of stuff, because the fixtures, you're travelling miles and miles to to games, etc. Not everyone's got that resource. Some people got to work, some people got to feed the family, etc. So they don't have the time, to do all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, so again, the likes of what's his name, Rashford, comes to mind.
Exactly.
You so what I'm saying is somebody's had the ability, never had the resource, but I'm sure it's his attitude.
Yes, attitude again.
It's his attitude which enabled him to rise and now shine. Yeah. So I think what I would like to say to the youngers out there, or to the parents who are youngsters who are into football, that they again need to take a stock. Yeah, because we have friends, we have family members that we can't avoid, that may well have bad tendencies. Yeah, and that again is where your attitude is going to kick it, where it needs to kick in. Yeah, because it's going to make the difference between success and failure, and also because of the evidence for the past 10, 15, even as much as 20 years. Yeah, because I can say on my watch, these killing amongst our youngsters weren't taking place because there were opportunities. Okay. Yeah, there were avenues that they could utilize their skill set and develop their social skills. These are not there anymore. Yeah, so it is a challenge for them that in a split of a moment they could lose their life. And again, I can reflect on what's her name, or the Goodwin Lawson Foundation, you know, who her son, who I think used to play for Oxford.
Okay.
Yeah, and he ended up being stabbed.
Yeah.
You know, and I know attitude played a part in all of that. Yeah, so I'm just citing these as an example as to the challenges that we're facing as parents, as elders, adults, you know, as to how our youngsters are losing their life because their attitude and mindset is wrong.
It's wrong. That's it. And it counts for a hell of a lot, attitude. The way it translates in the football sense is like practically, how do you train? How do you warm up? People are watching all this kind of stuff. If you're not, you know, you're messing about in the warm-up and then you think you can just go into the game and everything's going to be good. It doesn't work like that. How do you, you know, cool down? Are you staying extra, you know, after training to work on the things that are, you know, are going to make you, you know, perform to the best of your abilities? Or do you just go home and do you go out on the weekends partying instead of, you know, preparing well? You know, as they say, was it fail to prepare, prepare to fail?
Prepare to fail.
That's what they say. But in terms of like the you know, all the knife crime and violent crime that's affecting the youth that you just kind of touched on as well. You know, kids need to be extra vigilant. And as we know, all the resources have been taken away, isn't it? There's no youth clubs like you were mentioning. There's no programs like you used to put on with the Wild Blow for the kids to go out and express themselves, doing different things, not just sport, but artistic and creative stuff. So they need other things, you know. One of the things that I've been working on also before all the, you know, stuff with the police kicked off was actually making a documentary around knife crime, and it's going to be called Squash the Beef, and it involves two characters. I mentioned this to you before.
Probably,
I'm not sure. I probably did.
Probably.
Two characters that are ex-convicts now. So between them, they've done about 30 years in jail, and one from the north, one from South London, one from East London. I used to live in the south before, sort of Battersea area. And to cut a very long story short, they had an altercation. There was loads of crime going on in the streets of London, and these two were kind of, you know, spearheading a lot of it. Yeah. And then they had an altercation one time in a nightclub, ended in fights, etc., and loads of people got sort of injured. So basically, to cut a very long story short, they ended up in the same police cell.
Yes.
And well, they ended up in jail, and then from the jail, one of them was actually transported in the middle of the night to, I think it was the Isle of Sheppey, to a jail cell, and ended up in the exact same cell as the other convict. To cut a very long story short, again, the police kind of thought that they, you know, were going to finish each other off, but that didn't happen. So in the morning, they found both of them intact. They'd actually stayed up all night talking.
Yeah, you did say.
And they realised, that, you know, all the trouble that they'd caused on the street was for nothing. So they called a truce.
Because on that side, you know, because I've had problem with the acronym, you know, but you know, I just tell my pastor, you have to keep it real. You know, my God is real, and you have to keep it real for the youths.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So again, what we're facilitating is real, active, structured, supported solutions. You know, it's an acronym that we can run with. It's an acronym that I know the youths will be proud to wear the T-shirt, but I just don't want it on just anybody's back. No. You know, their mindset, their intuition, you know, everything has to be intact, you know, because they are the role models out there. And we need to come out of rehab in a more meaningful way. You know, we need to reconnect to a time where, like when I was growing up in the West Indies, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. So as you walk down the road, you see your elders, you say morning, how do you do, afternoon, no matter what. You understand? That means you can't be ignored. So when your needs arise, they can't ignore you. They have to come to help you. You know what I'm saying? Because each one teaches one. You know, we need to bring back that family love, you know, and that mentality, as you say. You know, so we need to re-engage. So again, that's what I'm saying. This lockdown is good to a certain extent. You know, particularly like where we have a platform. If they say we have a social distance, we can just distance.
Keep our 2 meters.
Yeah, keep our distance. You know, but again, yeah. Today we were down at the Windrush
Yes.
Square, because what we've done today is no different to what you see the Queen and all those high officials were doing.
Yes.
But what it's opened my eyes to the fact that Windrush Square now is a sacred place for us. Yeah, and it's something that we don't necessarily have to be waiting for the weekend
Yes.
to go to celebrate. Particularly like now that we're intending to have 1,000 drums
Yes.
plus. Yeah, we can just go at the end of the Victoria line, Windrush Square, with our drums and pay respect to our ancestors. Yeah, and people will be wondering why, but then when they see, yeah, what is standing there, yeah, that they can automatically connect the
They
two.
connect it. So it's a really good location
And
to
it's
get
a
the
really
message.
good location, you know. So yeah, it was really encouraging. We had a good 2 hours of good weather, and then the heavens opened.
Okay.
So the ancestors were pleased.
They spoke.
Yeah, they spoke. Yeah, but really faint-hearted, you know. We start to get wet, and I don't even think it was so much. It's just the way the shower rain came down sudden, and it came down in a way that we have to protect the drums, and I think that kind of discouraged us.
I can imagine. So with the drumming, so explain to me a little bit more. So do you have special sort of sequences and different drum beats to signify different things?
Yeah, and it's a learning curve for myself, because when I started, I couldn't play the drums. The beat was within me.
Yes.
But again, it wasn't a trained beat. So one of the first thing, like my good brother Omawali, he taught me, and this is common for everybody who wants to be party to the 1,000 drum, it's the unity beat.
Okay, and how does that work then? What's
The unity beat is basically tum bass, where it's 3 on the outside in sequence, and the bass in the middle.
Okay.
That is our unity beat. As long as you can play that unity beat, you can join in with anything that we're doing. And then from there, once you're confident with that, then you can then improvise. And when I say improvise, your spirit is allowed then to flow. As long as whatever you do, you still come back on that beat, which is that tempo. I myself, I think I've learnt the meditation, and the other one is the canter.
Okay.
But they're the 3 main beats that I've so far learnt. But in between that, I've probably got another 10, 12, which is just my spirit.
Okay.
Yeah, which I just freestyle. Because sometimes you get carried away.
And how does it make you feel when you're drumming with the whole group?
I feel at peace, and I'm able at times to just close my eyes and take myself away. Yeah, because I'm again coming to realize, because I think I'm not even sure if it's my brethren in the studio, Natty, that had said, you know, insofar as our senses, we don't have just 5 senses. No. I've reached to the point where I've identified that we've got certain 7, but I've heard it's probably as much as 21.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you, particularly us who are melanated people, yeah, we connect with the element. Yeah, so when the sun shines on us, it triggers, we're like solar cells. It triggers all kind of certain energies. Also the frequency, the bass, also triggers another energy. It connects us with probably more so the nature, the animals. The animals have an understanding.
And that's why the animals can hear the different frequencies.
Listen, when I play my drum in the garden, like you eventually come to my house, everybody's squatting in the tree, all over the place. The animals, the animals, they're listening. Yeah, so I can see there is a connection through the bass, and that's what again motivated me through my good brother Dougie, who used to sit in this chair when we were at his funeral, at his ascension. That when we were playing the drums, it triggered the car alarms.
Okay, so
and
the different
and that's what opened up my eyes to go into the drums. Yeah, so it's a nice hung up feeling. And again, the Naya Bingi, that again is another discipline, because you have to really stay focused, because there's so many other different things which are around and about you. But that is really calming, subtle, you know. But then what I've learning on that is the chant, which is then the power, and there's a particular drum, that does all the communication and the talking and the inner feeling and level the powers and stuff. So these are the things that I'm learning to better understand. You know, as again with Ras Chubby today, and he's letting me know that there are so many chants that there is actually a book, and it would be of benefit to myself to learn all of these chants as well. But the most powerful and potent thing is that we're dealing with one love. But in order to have that one love, peace and harmony, you have to dash rid the bad mind, which is associated with the Babylonian system. So that's why they chant down the Babylon. Not to say they hate, but they hate the things that they practice. But ultimately we're one. Because the earth is a land, the fullness thereof, and we have our responsibility to maintain this earth, which, as you can see presently, the wrath of God is upon us. Through this pandemic. But we don't want them to use this pandemic to further enslave us for another 400 years through their trickery. Because it's like they want to get rid of humanity and replace us with computers and all these technologies. But what I'd like before we come back again and catch ourselves is the two senses that I've identified outside of the five senses which is normally mentioned is it, or should I say this is it. Now it being intuition and telepathy. And you see how it just comes simple. You understand?
So you've experienced this yourself. You
because
we're in tune with.
Well, between you and I, there was an element of intuition. And the telepathy is where we've got a common kind of understanding. I came home, I got up this morning and something told me to give you a call. Before I set about my day. I set about my day, I come back and you then phone me. We hadn't planned anything.
No. So if you hadn't done that, the whole thing would have just, we wouldn't be here now. We wouldn't be doing this.
And again, it points back to the same discipline around the football. You've got to be able to switch on and switch off. So when you go on the football pitch, you have to switch on. How do you switch on? You have to switch on, warm up, do all of that.
The whole preparation.
And then you switch off, and you have to go through the same procedure at the end. In between that, you do what you do, but you prepare yourself. And then at the end you disconnect yourself. And it's the same in most situations. Even when you go out to socialize, you have to put yourself in that mindset. It's like you have to say, there's nothing that's going to provoke me out there.
You're right.
And there are some people who leave with the intention to go and seek problems.
True.
And you need to be able to distance yourself, because within your own grouping, you know. Because everybody is a leader. I realized this when I was growing up, and these are the things that I shared with the youths when I was fostering. You're all leaders. But you need to identify the fool, the troublemaker,
It's always different
and the intellect. You understand? You need to know who to turn to when your needs are there. And then what role you play in that
within
group.
the group. I guess that translates into a range of different situations, even in the office environment, and different things, right?
That's life. That's what life is about. That's why we all need each other. No man is an island, no man stands alone. So the role I'm playing at the moment, I see myself very much as a bridge.
Definitely.
And to be able to, with a platform like this, to facilitate. I no longer have the energy as I used to, because every move I make a sound before I even make the move. Yeah?
Yeah.
Whereas before it wasn't even a consideration.
Silent, gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, we are at a time now where it's very crucial for us to understand, and in order that we can move the whole things forward, my understanding has taken me to, again, the Goodwin Lawson Foundation, which is, again, dealing with effective parenting.
Okay.
And I came into this studio with my good brother Dougie,
Okay, yes.
because it shows you the cycle of life as to how people develop, you know, in different stages according to their age. And myself, I'm at that end part now where I'm a grandparent. You know what I'm saying? So you say once a man, twice a child. So from being an elder now, I'm reconnecting back to when I was a child, growing up, because I'm going back to zero. Where again I'm going to be spoon fed, clean,
Cycle of life.
being humbled. So it is where my passion is so much with young people, because when I go to Jamaica, I have all the time for the youths, because I know if I was fortunate to return at an older age, those young people who are now young men, they're going to see me and say, "Oh man, that's Clive. I remember when I was a little picnic growing up, you know, his brother used to do this for me and do that for me." You see what I'm saying?
Remember, don't they? They don't forget.
They don't forget. You see, so that's why when I go home, I'm so comfortable, because I'm from a village. So when we talk about it takes a village to raise a child, I fully understand that. You know, and when it comes to working with young people, because I've done remand and challenge in fostering for Haringey, as well as Hackney. So
you've taken in all comers.
So I've got a track record within Haringey, as well as Hackney, and again we did it. We've been approved privately. So I do have an understanding around young people developments, their tendencies and challenges, and again when I work with remand and challenging teenagers, I tell them straight. I tell them straight. You need to show me your tendencies.
So what were the main challenges that you found, like with just the groups that you managed? Was there like a common kind of, you know, challenge that you did face?
Well, how I dealt with my youths is I had a pool table. And again, because I'd been a counsellor, I'm well known within my community. So as they go, I introduce them to as many people I know. So if they do anything, when I'm out and they see that I know this person, I know that person, it's like having CCTV on them.
So you know everything before it happens anyway.
And the key thing is when the information comes back to me, I don't let them know the source of that information. Because if they know the source, they will go and antagonize that person. That person will lose the confidence to tell me anything. So once they know that isn't happening, they feel like there's an eye in the back of their head at every given moment. You see what I'm saying? So they then would behave themselves. And the other side of that, because I've got a pool table, I've got somewhere that they can have, their friends can come round. I then want to know their friends' parents, for the parents know that their friends is with me. So in transit now, they can't say they're coming to me and they're not coming to me.
Of course. So everything's kind of interlinked. And
everything is interlinked. That's what the village to raise a child. And again, like you see, my kids, I had the war blow. Because the war blow came about from my daughter's generation. And when you can have up to 2,000 kids in one venue, you can imagine the responsibility. The only unfortunate thing is my Labour colleagues that said they didn't want another Bernie grant.
Oh, really?
Because Bernie is the one that brought me into politics. Because they're saying, boy, those children, they're now adults. So if I was to run politics,
you would have been too powerful.
I'll be too powerful and they can't contain me. You see what I'm saying? So everything interlinks, and it's those experience which I'm carrying forward. So I've worn most of the t-shirts.
You
see what I'm saying? And the key thing is I remain humble with it. People might not like me because they say I walk with a swagger.
Yeah, and you've earned the right to swagger.
Yeah, but I don't boast.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Been there,
So yeah, I've been there and I've done it. Otherwise, they'll cut me out. And because I know I've got that cred,
yeah,
that's the reason why I could have gone to the extent of joining UKIP as an example. Yeah, and then people will say, well, boy, what's he up to now? Yeah, there must be a motive behind it. Yeah, so we are where we are, you know, but unfortunately we're locked up, and we've got to look as to how we're going to make preparation for when we come out, because there's a lot of people who are suffering mental,
a lot of it,
mental tendencies right now. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's okay if you're, well, it's not okay, because if you're an outgoing person and you don't have anywhere to go, and you're a person who would normally stay in, and there's too much people in the house with you. It's crazy now.
I mean, nobody's like you say, nobody's in a comfort zone at the moment, are they? Because, like you say, you could be an introvert and you're in an extrovert environment, or extrovert in an introvert environment, and you know, people still need releases, which is why it's a problem when they shut down all the kids' sports and all that kind of stuff as well for the weekend, but allow them to do it at school anyway, etc. Obviously, you've got to contain the virus and all that kind of stuff, as they say, but people will still need to release somehow. Yeah,
so there's too much dependency on social media. I don't think government really had thought this thing through. You know, and the consequences, and they're so reliant now on injection. And we don't believe in it. There's a lot of us who are naturalists. So what are you going to do with them ones? Some who are vegan, they don't want to eat meat, but now you're insisting that they take injection. How are you going to deal with them ones? You see what I'm saying? Our body is our temple, you know, and they want to encroach on our person, take away our civil liberties, you know, which again I mentioned earlier, like today there's a group who is putting an indictment against all these international governments, you know, because I think also one thing I can reflect and I say, you know, the referendum that took place in regards to the European election showed the power of the people. And because that revealed itself, governments are now trying to take that back.
Trying to backtrack.
They're trying to take it back. They're saying, how dare you? We're the one in control. But we need to rise up and say, listen, the power is with the individual, and we're not going to allow you to brainwash us, in order to control, and you're seeing another example of what took place in Europe now, in America,
the uprisings,
uprising, and we've got a situation where nobody knows who has won. The declaration has been made, but because of the same social media, and a lot of the voting was done via social media, you can't see what's transpired.
I mean, again, it's one of those situations where it's like, you know, the very nation that's telling everyone that this is the ideal model, you know, of democracy, is now kind of like, you know, displaying the complete opposite pole of what they're trying to indoctrinate people
and
with.
Again, I think, you know, it's a situation where when we look as to who we are, and when I say who we are as melanated people, I say Africans, you know, we've got such a responsibility now, you know, to show real love, which in part is our nature, because for the past 30, 40 years we've become a throwaway society, and I watch this disaster that is taking place as an example presently in Jamaica, where everything is washing away, and the only thing seem to be floating is these plastics.
I know David Attenborough's had a lot to say about that, but it's plastic and the PPE, it's all plastic.
Yeah, all I'm seeing is plastic.
People discard them on the floor, plastic. Everywhere, so it's all
and then these plastic now, they're blocking up the air, the sewage system.
Yeah, you find them in your fish, everything.
Listen, I'm not...
Yeah.
I
think we're getting a caller in here.
So. I'm not understanding this phone, you know. Every time it rings, I need to put my glasses on.
It's all right.
I'm not really too keen. Where's the time now? Listen, family, you'll have to forgive me now because we're 9:35. 2 centimeters. Oh, let's close that. Let me close that. Yeah, excuse me, family. This phone is going off ever so often, but oh, it's not plugged in. Oh, there.
So we're getting there.
Well, I did kind of telling us still, you know. I'm tired, family. You have to forgive me, but I was at the wind rush and then I'm plugging the phone.
It's been a long day, hasn't it? Anyway, you've been out and about doing the drumming.
Yeah, but I'm hoping and enjoying a conversation. Our conversation still. Yeah. So we're throwing back the responsibility into your hands and hoping that you know, you've been managing and coping with this pandemic. You know, the latter part, as you heard, we were touching on the plastics, the disasters that we're seeing in the Philippines, the
landslides,
the West Indies and things like that. You know, I'm even seeing things from my locality up there in Landui, you know, in St. Thomas, Jamaica, you know, and in truth, as much as I ask for God's mercy, you know, his will has to be done, you know, because we are guilty, you know, and we've abused and we've put personal wealth and interest over what you'd say our environment and the love of mankind, peace and harmony. Everybody are brag and boast and trying to look the part, you know. And I know there's lessons being learnt because a number of people who have built big houses, I've seen those houses just collapse down gully. And they were thinking they were gaining such a fantastic view. But I don't think they were looking down.
From the bottom of the ocean.
No, I don't think they were looking down because initially when they looked down, they were thinking that the opportunity or the chance of somebody climbing up to break into, encroach on what they've preserved was impossible. But so God just come and just take away the foundation.
They didn't think it could go down. They were thinking about people coming up.
They didn't see themselves falling down in the gully. You know what I'm saying? So in one respect, yeah, and I know there's a few people who have actually experienced that, so I'm not condemning them. Yeah, you understand? I'm not saying, but lessons needs to be learned. Yeah, so it's an eye-opener for all of us, you know, and that's why I'm so glad and I'm so pleased that when I came up with this first acronym, yeah, which is RASSS, and I took it to my pastor. Yeah, he asked me why I'm not turn the R into a P. Yeah, because he saw it as a derogatory term.
Okay.
Yeah, but rather than change the R into a P, I went back into the Bible and I came out with wrath. Yeah, and then when I came out with wrath, I then had to set about how I could get the words to match those initials, letters. You know, and that's where I came up with well-being, relationship, attitude, truth, and hope.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, at the end of it, I said, but wait, you know, that's what God would really have hoped for in when He demonstrates His wrath. If you don't satisfy those things, yeah, then you have to understand, you know. So yeah, for whatever reasons, you know, being guided, you know, and to have that kind of insight and to be able to put it together and then to afford us this platform and
blessradio1.com, you know, to be able to sit down with yourself and to even have had the opportunity through my good brother, Dougie, who first brought me here, and my sister Leo, who again we lost. Well, we didn't lose, but who had ascended, you know, to join our ancestors. So those spirits are with us.
Always.
Yeah, and to know those spirits are with us, giving us the motivation, you know, just to keep on moving forward in this time, you know, because, you know,
We could easily have sat down and just sat on our laurels and done nothing, but you have to keep moving.
Yeah, you have to keep moving because that's life, you know. And again, what's the point locking yourself up indoors? Is that life?
It's not life.
That's not life. You know what I'm saying? Because exercise is one of the most important things.
You have to keep moving.
You have to keep moving.
As you get atrophy.
You know, so I don't know what to say, my brother, on that, you know, but yeah, I'm just encouraged, and like I'm saying, yeah, whatever it is we need to do further, because you're embarking on your program. Yeah, I'm wanting the listeners out there, adults, youngers, if you're also listening, to make note of what my good brother has said. Parents to make note of what our good brother has said, because we need to make sure, because our youngsters are our future.
That's what it's about.
They are the ones to which we have to pass on this baton. Yeah, we don't want for them to be programmed to be chipped, and you're the example. Yeah, so if you take it, they are going to do likewise, because they don't know from where they're coming other than through you. So if you don't, or we don't educate them as to what was good in the past and where society is going wrong, then they're going to buy into it. Hence why they consume the fast food, because it tastes nice. You understand? But they don't know what it originally tastes like. Yeah, because it's been artificially flavored. Yeah, we know when things were natural. Yeah, from when it come out to the earth, and if it is flavor, what flavor is added to it. A lot of the youngsters are void of that knowledge. Yeah, we don't sit around the table. Yeah, those common things where we could stare them in the eye and find out why them not eat and have that conversation. We left them to their own measures, and we're suffering the consequence of that, because we're thinking about the convenience of being able to have a plasma TV, a throwaway phone, a throwaway trainers. Yeah, myself as an elder, remember obviously when I used to have to put cardboard in the bottom of my trainers that wear out. You see what I'm saying?
When your sock was coming out the bottom.
Yes. Yeah, these kids see these trainers now as trophies.
Yeah.
They buy them, wear them 2 times, put them in a box. And put them up. You know what I'm saying?
Jordans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but if you're in Jamaica right now, rain coming, wash with that. That now you have to go find that in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? And there was a clip where the fridge was floating.
Just floating by.
Yeah, and the man, I wonder all his concern now, it got dent the car.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw another clip with a woman that hold on to the car, in the car park. The water come between
people dying and she's trying to hold it.
She's holding on to the car because obviously she wants to probably try and move the car. She couldn't see where she going to move it to. Yeah. And the more she hold on, the water, what do you say, the current, I get more and more severe, stronger, until she realizes, something.
Save yourself.
I think I better save myself.
This is a prime example of material things and holding on to things. There's certain things you can't hold on to or put value on.
Listen, you can't take bad thing make laugh, but open your eyes, family. Open your eyes. Yeah, we're in serious times. Yeah. And again, I said there's a whole heap of us just flinging prayers out there, Yeah, to be honest, there's one individual and a group that I'm involved in. 1 week she fling up something, a pure cussing in this video, Yeah, me have to really and truly ask her. So what about the prayers you normally send out on a daily, But yeah, we're going through some things, and I set up a group last week. And people just bombarding this group with all sort of things. until in the end the group got down to a minimal number, because as you know, I'm trying to consolidate things, because so I don't have to be spending 2-3 hours making these individual posts
of
to
course.
afford me more time to do more of the community things. You know, and I'm asking if they understand. But the latter part, I think I've kind of reined them them in.
Settling down.
Yeah, they've settled, because there's a lot of information that they do send, which I can use. But I'm saying with that info, please just send it on my own personal, that I can decipher and decide to post. But I won't post it on the said group, because it clogs it up. Yeah, I will have to spend the time to send them out individually to those who I know I've got interest in that field, then say. But anything that you send which is textual, I'll be able to put that on the group, so people can read it and reference it in order to go and seek out the video. Yeah, so it's not to say it's exclusively for myself, it is there for you also, but I don't want for you to be posting videos. Yeah, the times are too serious now for us to just be doing things without any due consideration. So I'm asking you, family, for your understanding on that. Okay, now we are 9:45. We've got 15, maybe 20 minutes left, because I was late. I'm conscious of that. So if there's anything you would want to say, I'll just go through, because I hadn't even really compiled the order of what I was going to be doing. You know, so
yeah, I mean,
ad-libbing.
Earlier on, I know we were going back to the whole sort of police situation, etc., and you know, sort of solutions and consequences for certain things that have been happening recently, that have been well documented. So I know it's been well documented in the news that, you know, the Take the Initiative Party. Have you heard of the Take the Initiative Party?
Oh yeah, that's politics. Yeah,
Yeah. So I was just going to ask you about your take on one of their proposed initiatives, which is, you know, to have a race offenders kind of list. Register. Yeah.
Well, I thought they would have had that as well as a point of duty.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is one of the things that they're saying that they will put through as something in the manifesto to action.
Well, if between the police and the courts and the government, if they've not compiled that, it's a major failing.
Yeah, I mean,
particularly since you've had the Jimmy Savile incident.
That's the sex offenders. They're talking about the race offenders. So somebody who's, you know, like a police officer who stops someone on the grounds of like their race, etc., or a stop and search on a young child, and it can be found that it's down to sort of racial bias, then these people get fined or put on an actual register.
On a register as a means to deter.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, the government are not going to, I shouldn't say they're not going to do it, but they're not in a position to, because that's from a standpoint of guilt. You understand? They'd have to get rid of their superiors first. And the reason for me saying that is because the institutions, because we're not represented in all the institutions, it's hard for us to formulate such a thing. Yeah. And it's a good thing, but who's going to compile it? And if you're not in there, nobody's going to openly come and say so if they know the consequence of them so doing. You know, but in theory, but again, it's something that you would have to leave down to the Stephen Lawrence or Mrs. Lawrence in order to do from the House of Lords. You know, but as we are at a point where we've definitely seen Babylon is falling, they're not just going to just keel over for you like that.
Yeah,
it's
going to be a fight.
It's going to be, there's resistance. It's a nice thought, but I don't believe it's practical.
You don't think it'll work in practice?
No, because it's like having the cake on the table, isn't it? And you're saying because of so and so, you're not entitled to your share. And there's so many of them already who sits on the high table.
True. But I guess it's something to work towards and keep plugging.
Yeah, I think that is achievable if we then was in a position of authority, of power. Yeah,
Okay.
but because we're not in that position, and the very people who are privileged, their privilege is because they discriminate. Yeah,
That is
they're not
taken
gonna.
away.
They're
They're not
not
gonna relinquish the
They're not gonna
privileges.
relinquish that privilege. Yeah, which is which is what we're trying to set about.
Yes.
And even like again today, last week I was having conversation, and even today I was having conversation with management insofar as a political party.
Okay.
But again, the political party that you've mentioned, if you can spell it out to us, to me and the listeners,
It's
because I'm in favour to a point.
yeah. It's
And,
the TTIP.
The
isn't it?
TTIP,
Take the Initiative Party.
take the initial party,
Yeah.
and the initiative being
The initiative being, it's taking control of things, taking back, as they say. Like it almost sounds like what Farage used to say, isn't it? Take back control.
Take back
I
control.
think that was a Boris slogan, wasn't it, at the time? But yeah, it's about sort of being in control of your own destiny again, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I'm all in favour, but I know it needs to be a very broad church.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this party needs to be open to all race, all cultures. But at the same time, in saying that, it's for us to determine
Yeah.
who we embrace. They need to be of a certain mindset, certain skill set in order to deliver on
Yes.
what the needs and aspirations are. So I think that is going to be the key. Yeah, I myself, as you know, I've been involved
You've been
with
there.
all parties.
Yeah.
So if I was to be involved in such a party with my life experience, I know that it needs to be embracing all cultures, and it's for us to lead as an example.
Yes.
From the mistakes that our privileged predecessors,
Not
Yeah.
replicating the same things,
Yeah,
but
not
just with a
replicate.
different.
because the
people.
difference is our long history as African melanated people.
Yes.
Yeah, we know that the earth needs to be preserved. That's why we were placed in the Garden of Eden, and from then temptations came about. Yeah, so God is doing what He's doing through His wrath presently. For us to have such a party with a broad church, yeah, to enable us to deal with what needs to be dealing with. Yeah, again, I was having the conversation. I was thinking to myself, boy, it seems as though if a party was thrown out there in the name of enough is enough, because people are so fed up, a lot of people will be drawn towards.
Yeah. But they have to understand what it really means.
Yeah, well, again, my management was saying is that it might be somewhat, what do you say, out of order in that we are making a presumption, yeah, and the system would not really want to go for it because they find it too confrontational. You know, from its outset,
it's in your face enough.
it's too much in your face, even though it is the truth. Yeah, so it's something that I will take away because I've got my cousin actually working on constitution aims and objectives.
Okay, all right.
I've had that discussion this morning before I even set out.
Yes.
Yeah, because I see the seriousness and its relevance. But the fact that I'm now voicing this in relation to TTIP is something that I would like for them to take into consideration, because from what I've seen of their promotional video, it's one-sided. It's Afrocentric. Not that there's anything wrong with it from its conception, but it needs to reflect the community to which it is serving. Which again is the same as if we were all to say, well, we're going to go back to Africa. If they've got us all in one place, they just throw a bomb. And it wouldn't be a bomb that destroys the land. It will be germs. Even though they don't seem to realize the breeze will blow it back into them face. But as long as they've got the the injection
Yeah.
in order to, because they know what they're sending out there. So once they've got the antidote for that, they can wipe us out. And this is the way that they think. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important for us to be amongst them in order to. So whenever time again they come up with this notion of an injection, you have to wonder what their motive is behind it. Yeah, because once they've got their selective few, that's to say, those of us who are here who take it, yeah, those who are abroad that haven't taken it, it means that they can go down with the weaponry and destroy them. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So this is the way these people think. Yeah, and that again takes us back to the same intuition. Yeah, we have an insight through their actions as to how they think and play things out. Yeah, because everything is with us. We're blessed to have the minerals, the gold, the diamond, everything that they crave for. Yeah, but the thing is, we live in a time now where they're not able to pull the wool over our eyes anymore. You see what I'm saying? And they've used slavery in order to rob, cheat, and abuse. Yeah. Now they can't do it anymore.
No, those times are gone.
Times are gone. So they've got to come up with new tricks, new ways. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. Yeah, so we are in some perilous times, you know, and that's why I'm thinking it's
this
so
is like
important.
new age warfare. Kind of.
Yeah, so the new world order is how we step up to the plate. Yeah, we've got to make them the promises and for them to believe, yeah, that we're not just gonna condemn them. And they have to have the confidence too. Yeah, so they're going to want to have their own representation. And at that point, we say, yeah, we're happy to accommodate you, but we're going to watch you, yeah, to make sure that you are your art is pure and clean.
Yeah.
You understand? To rally behind what would say the red, gold, and green. Yeah, so, yeah, that is a challenge, but it's a worthy challenge. And it's then a point where if we can prove ourselves to be trustworthy in that respect, then yeah, we definitely, because we can see the mainstream political party, they don't represent us. I think today I was seeing Joe, what's her name? Someone the other from the Labour Party, shadow minister or something. She was saying that anybody who is putting up anything contrary on this pandemic, on the injection, they want the social media to
take it down,
or to punish them for posting it.
So you can't object to that.
Yeah, they don't want any objection. They want us to be going willy-nilly, you know, as lambs to the slaughter. Yeah, and this is the Labour people who are saying it.
Wow.
And it reminds me similar to anti-Semitic. You can't say anything against
the state.
Insofar as the injection. They don't want no opposition. They want everybody to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been groups that have opposed certain things anyway. Like even like Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't even, you know, they don't accept certain things, hospital treatment for certain things, etc. Yeah. Even to this day. Yeah. So there's gonna be factions, but with this
that is
even more.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point. Yeah. They won't accept blood, but are they accepting the injection?
It's a very good point.
No, but you raised the point first.
I know. That's what I mean. It's like I never thought of it like that, but I mean, you know, it's
but it's a case of that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Being in the studio is so important to bounce. Yeah. You understand? Because what you flag up, we can elaborate on it, because even though we have not considered it, that is another sense. Yeah, it's not something that we had necessarily thought on. We've just led from one thing to another.
It's interesting,
you know? So it's really interesting, and that again is a power of when people are in relationship with each other. It's not on the social Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and on the social Zoom, it's also very difficult to talk. Yeah. You know, and for me, it's so important that when we're in the studio, because when I'm in the studio, everything I put out it points to me. Yeah. 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 Of course. But we're sharing our experiences and other people experiences as well as perspectives. You know, so they can't be pointing the finger. You know, so we have to be very mindful and careful.
There's more than one angle.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, we're at the end of our time. You know, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah. So listeners out there, I thank you for your time. We're not necessarily done yet because I'm gonna read a couple more from the good book. In the meantime, my brother will be thinking as to what it is that he would like to say in us departing. But I'm gonna play you a one tune again, and just to give you some confidence.
This morning, smile with the rising sun. Really birds by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying, this is my message to you. Singing no worry about a thing. This morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying, this is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing. I'm living, thanks I be giving. I'm a living while I'm living to the Father I will pray. Only Him know how we get through every day. Only I give the price, I'm a live we have to pay. Why no leaders play? All I see, people don't rip and no rob. All I read, thieves never love to see things with long bag. No love for the people who are suffering bad. Another toll to the poor mega episode. What is to stop the youth from getting out of control? Full of my education, you know, on a payroll. The clothes from the back of countless I.O. Could go on and on, the fool has never been told. I'm a living while I'm living to the Father I will pray. Only Him know how we get get through. Every day with only hiking the price. I'm a leg me have to pay. While our leaders play, we say who can afford to run will run. But what about those who can't? They will have to stay. Opportunity, a scarce commodity. In this time I sang, when mama spend her last and send you to class. Never you ever play. It's a competitive world for low budget people, spending the time while earning a nickel, with no regard to who it may tickle. My cup is full to the brim. I could go on and on, the fool has never been told. It's like I'm living while I'm living to the final I will pray. Only you know how we get through. Every day with only I in the price. I'm a lady have to pay. While our leaders play, all I see people are rip and a rob. All are grinding. Thieves never love is the things we long back. No love for the people who are suffering bad. Another told to the poor, they got help to show.
Yes, family. Yes, family. Yeah, we've come to a close now. You know, we're coming to a close. Yeah, so food for thoughts. One who sets their goals too low and accept too little as enough, squander their talents and abilities. And on reflection, that in a sense determines or looks at your attitude towards things. And I'm pointing this because we've had Mr. Boateng with us in the studio this evening, and his focus to a certain extent is with the next generation. That's the youngsters, the youths out there. Now we are reaching out to yourself, young people, whether directly or through your parents, through your uncles, your aunts, anybody that know young people presently out there who may well have needs, are facing certain issues and challenges. Yeah, so we're in fact sharing this responsibility with you, and we're affording you a platform through the information which my good brother again will repeat to you as to where he can be contacted on the social media. So you've got that first hand, yeah, and to enable you to realize your full potential, yeah. And in addition to your attitudes, I would like also to remind you, as to us as elders, as well as to you, the young people, that to remember your duties, be worthy of your ancestors, do honor to yourself and to your family. Yeah, you never just land here. You didn't come from outer space. Yeah? Your creation is through mother and father. Yeah, you didn't come through as being, in some cases, recent test tube babies. Yeah, because there are those who, for whatever means, and I know that in some case there is a need for, yeah, but it's not something that we in fact would encourage, because who God bless no man curse, you know. But again, I'm not here to pass any judgment. I'm just saying, yeah. But you were the creation of or in most cases, you are the creation of two beings coming together amicably. We know sometimes some people say it's a mistake, but we dismiss that, because what's to be. God have his reasons for everything. Yeah, so you need to have an understanding. The mere fact that you're on this earth, you're here for a purpose. Yeah, and that is, one is to live, and secondly is to be happy, to be at peace, and to live in harmony. Yeah, unfortunately, greed, selfishness at times raises its head, and a lot of us don't know as to how to manage it. I'm not saying that I'm guilty or not guilty. I'm just expressing myself. Okay, so the word from the good book I'd like for you to make good use of. Yeah, and obviously if there's anything that I didn't touch, and those who may well have been trying to phone in, sorry I didn't plug on in, you understand, but maybe this wasn't such a program, yeah, and that's why it never happened, yeah, because we try to move in spirit and in truth, and I can only be truthful. Yeah, today I spent the time with my brothers and sisters, so I say respect to those who had gathered at the Windrush Square today, paying due respect to our ancestors, yeah, for the sacrifices that they've been making or had made for a Second World War and continue to make, yeah. So I salute you, family. I wish you well for this week, that we are able to face all the challenges which are presently and on our doorstep. I recommend that you consider what you give consent to or you don't give consent to, because every week now you got to be expecting somebody to be knocking on your doors. I've seen examples of Liverpool or Manchester where they're trying things untowards. Yeah, so take your stand, my family. Yeah, hold your grounds. Yeah, because they say ways are not for the swift but for those who endure, and there would appear that there's more to come. We know that this present phase is due to end, I believe, on the 2nd of December. Yeah, but if the evil one are not satisfied, yeah, they're gonna come back again. Yeah, but don't make them fool, They're begging, yeah, and we see, because we did kind of throw it out there before, with Mr. Andrew Holness when him got called this COVID election. We did tell him, when him win, we tell him, so when he thinks there's peace and safety, it may well be sudden destruction. You understand? You see what's befalling you now down there in Jamaica. Yeah, now you don't have the resource to do the work, yeah, to fix the place. And you tell the people them to stay in them house and lock up themselves, whereby you'd probably need their hands now out on road for help with the recovery. Yeah? And you gotta tell them to go wear a mask at the same time. Yeah? So say a foolishness that. Yeah? So now you have to go run back to what? The IMF go borrow money, and they've already set it in place, because remember, you said, when the injection come, it'll go free. Yeah? But you need to really go deal with your family so that we can monitor for the next 3 months as to what effect it will have upon you. As a matter of fact, you and the whole of your cabinet members, yeah, make them, as a matter of fact, give we the injection, make we inject uno. Yeah? Bring it come, make we inject uno, and make we put you in a lockdown then. for the next few months. Till the new year, yeah, because you see, uno too grabalicious. Everything them say are foreign, uno take it as gospel, yeah. In a country which have the most herbal remedies, we have the fastest man and woman on the planet, yeah. And you want to go take injection? Why you never go to Madagascar? Yeah, who did have that and use that? Yeah, about time on open up in eyes now, man. You understand? So me is only a small fish, Yeah, but I'd like to think some me have common sense, because what I'm seeing, me not like it. Yeah, and you have your so-called intellects running about you. Yeah, so what I'm to feel with scientists them. Yeah, Cuba. Yeah, what about Cuba? Why not go to Cuba and ask them about medication? Yeah, we see them, they come down there and them go all part of the world. What to them? Oh, suddenly the Cuba not in our picture anymore. You see me? Yeah, so these are just a few food for thoughts. Yeah, so my brother, Mr.
Boateng.
Yeah. You see, remember, everything I've kind of said. Yeah, Mr. Boateng, please wind this up for us.
Yeah, just to say, thanks for having me in the studio. It's been a pleasure again. just to wind up, I'd like to reiterate on the fact that we're trying to give kids opportunities. That's what it's all about, saving the youth, giving them things that they can do to work towards a greater good. One of the first things that we're going to do is try and get them some football trials. So under 16s, we're starting off with Crystal Palace. It's going to be an assessment day coming up once they release, ease the lockdown restrictions. To do that, we're looking for actually wingers and centre forwards to start with. Just send myself an email, Andy, ANDY, at needmorefootball.com. So Andy at needmorefootball.com. Just send me the information that you've got and I'll send you the form, etc. to fill out. It's as simple as that. So under 16s, centre forwards and wingers. We've got projects going on with the police that are in the pipelines, etc. And we want to try and look after the youth from different angles. So it's not just going to be football, sports. We want to do some of the creative industries as well. And one other thing we're trying to explore, as Mr. Glassford Sterling was saying recently, is the end goal is trying to get employment for the kids. So we want to try and bring in sort of careers advisors and employers from the local community and beyond, sort of big industry, so that they can look further afield, because we want them to have big aspirations, and see what we can do in terms of maybe getting some kind of employment training or placement training as well, or placement places even. I've already been in contact with the employability department at the City University, in fact, and we'll see what they can do. They said they're willing to help in any which way they can, so it's on the police really to get back to us and see what we can factor in. So there are opportunities out there for the kids that hopefully we can work into some kind of strategy and framework, really.
Okay, all right, thank you very much for that, and thank you again